In this video, I want to talk to you about why it's important to know your motivation if you're going to achieve any kind of goal. Stick around. Hey, what's up? It's your bro, Mario Escobedo, here to add value to your spiritual growth. I want you to picture a scenario. There are two buildings standing side by side. They're about 50 feet apart from each other. They're identical in every respect. And you're standing on the 40th floor of one of the buildings. Now, between the two buildings is a tightrope that goes from one building to the other on the 40th floor, exactly where you're standing. And I come to you and I tell you, hey, I want you to walk on that tightrope to get from this building over to this other building. And if you do it, I'll give you $10. Now, you're on the 40th floor of this building. And I'm asking you to walk on a tightrope to another building 40 stories up. You're probably going to tell me there's no way I would ever do that. So I decide to increase the amount. I tell you, okay, how about $100? No way. $1,000, $10,000. Maybe I take it all the way up to $100,000. At that point, you might think about it a little bit, but you're probably going to end up saying no. Not even $100,000 is worth me risking my life walking across a tightrope 40 floors up in the air from one building to another. But let's change the scenario a little bit. Let's take all the money off the table. No money now. But I tell you this, I want you to walk from this building to this building, 50 feet apart, 40 floors up in the air on a tightrope. Oh, by the way, the building where you're standing right now, it's on fire. And the only way you can escape, the only exit is that tightrope to the other building. What do you say now? Well, you know that the risk hasn't changed. The height hasn't changed. The tightrope hasn't changed. Nothing in this scenario has changed except for the fact that the building is on fire. At that point, my guess is that you would seriously consider walking across that tightrope. If it were me, I would probably say something like, well, I might die walking across that tightrope, but at least I'm going to try. I'm not going to sit in this burning building passively just waiting to die when I know that there's an exit, there's a possibility of saving my life. So I'm probably going to do it. You might do it as well. Nothing in that scenario changed except for one thing, your motivation. See, when I offered you money, that wasn't a strong enough motivation to get you going across that tightrope. You said, no, that's not big enough. That motivation just isn't big enough. But when I talked to you about a burning building, well, the motivation completely changed. Now your motivation was, I need to save my life, and this is the only way to do it. So everything else stayed the same, but your motivation changed, and that's probably what got you moving across the tightrope. Now, motivation has a lot to do with you achieving your goals. In fact, the word motivation simply means to move to action. What is it that moves you to action? We're in that time of the year right now when I'm recording. It's November 2017, so we're just about at the end of the year and about to start a new year. So it's right about now that a lot of people start talking and thinking about goals that they want to achieve for the new year. But if you're like most people, you're probably going to abandon your New Year's resolution or goal before the end of January. At least that's what the statistics tell us. Why does that happen? Well, sometimes the goals are too big. Sometimes the goals aren't noble or worthy enough. But a lot of times it just has to do with the fact that your goal didn't have the right motivation. The goal wasn't attached to a strong enough motivation or a strong enough why, a compelling reason, a compelling motivation or why for you to want to achieve that goal. And really what I've come to discover in my own life and in talking with other people as well is that it really doesn't matter how noble, how worthy or worthwhile a goal is. If the motivation to achieve that goal isn't there, it's not strong enough, it's just not going to happen. You need a strong enough motivation, something that will tell you, hey, get up off the couch, turn off the TV, and get to work on your goal. If you have a goal and it just sounds pretty, it sounds nice, but there's no strong, compelling motivation attached to that goal, it really doesn't matter how pretty it sounds and how good it would feel to achieve it. If you're just not motivated enough, if you don't have that motivation, it's probably not going to happen. So what do? Well, as you're planning your goals for 2018, and I encourage you to do so, as you're planning your goals, think about what is the motivation? What's going to move me to action to achieve this goal? Because if the goal that you want is worthwhile enough, it's probably going to get hard at some point. It's going to get difficult at some point. It might get boring at some point. And if you don't have a strong enough motivation, I can almost guarantee you, you're going to abandon that goal. So in my mind, it's not enough just to select a good goal. You have to know, what is my motivation behind this goal? What is going to compel me to get up and get going after this goal? And is it strong enough? Is it a compelling enough motivation? Because if it isn't, chances are you're not going to get moving on the goal. Now, Jon Acuff, in his book, Finish, Give Yourself the Gift of Done, talks about two things that motivate people. He talks about fun and fear. And so some people are motivated by fun, meaning they reward themselves when they achieve a goal or when they get closer to their goal. They set milestones for themselves, and when they reach those milestones, they reward themselves. They do something fun. They buy themselves something. That fun motivates them to achieve their goal. But not everybody is motivated by fun. Some people are motivated by fear. And Jon Acuff gives this example in his book. There's this man who wanted to work out and lose some weight and get in shape, so he went to a trainer. And this is what the trainer did on the very first day of training this guy. He said, I want you to write a check to your least favorite politician. And what I'm going to do is, if you don't meet your goal in X amount of days, I am going to mail this check, your money, to your least favorite politician. You're going to make a contribution to your least favorite politician. And that fear motivated that man to get on his goal. That motivation was there. I think in our case, we have to figure out, what is it that motivates us? What is that compelling reason that will get us up 30 minutes earlier than we normally get up? That will keep us awake 30 minutes longer than we normally would, and just get us to work on our goal? What is that motivation that tells us you have to do this? Don't abandon the goal, because the reason you're doing this is so strong, it's so compelling, and it's so worthwhile that you have no choice but to accomplish this goal, because your motivation is just that strong. So great. You're figuring out goals for 2018, and I hope you're doing that. You're figuring out goals for 2018. Don't forget to think about your motivation behind those goals, because if you don't figure out what that motivation is, and if it's not a strong enough, compelling enough motivation, chances are you are going to abandon that goal. So you've got just about a month, more or less, depending on when you're listening to this video, you've got about a month, more or less, to figure out your goals for 2018. And I want you to set apart some time, not just to figure out your goals, but to figure out and be absolutely crystal clear in your mind, what is my motivation behind wanting to achieve this or that goal? And just as a tip, I would recommend that you don't have more than 3, maybe 4 goals that you want to achieve in a year. I've seen some people who have up to 10 or 15 goals that they want to achieve in a year, and that could be overstretching yourself. One of two things is happening. Those goals are too small, that they're really just nothing, they're projects or tasks more than anything, or if they're that big, there's just no way that you're going to accomplish 10 or 15 major goals in a year. Start with 3, start with 4 even at the max. And as you knock them out of the way, then you can move on to other goals, but don't take on too much all at once. But very important, don't forget, establish your goal, but make sure that you are crystal clear on, what is my motivation for wanting to achieve this goal? What is going to move me to action? And here's the thing, only you can decide what that motivation is, and if it's worthwhile enough for you to get up and get moving toward achieving your goal. Well, I hope this adds value to your spiritual growth. And if it does, I'd appreciate if you gave it a like, give this video a like, leave some comments maybe. Definitely give it a share on your Facebook page so that others can benefit from this as well. And by the way, I produce a podcast called the Christian Bro Code Podcast. Now, for these last few months of 2017, I haven't recorded any new episodes, but I will be posting new episodes in January of 2018. Right now, you can go to thechristianbrocode.com and find 11 episodes of the Christian Bro Code podcast. Listen to those, and I know that they'll add value to your spiritual growth. And be on the lookout, because in January of 2018, you'll see new episodes of the Christian Bro Code podcast. Again, that is thechristianbrocode.com. You can find the podcast pretty much anywhere where you find podcasts: Apple iTunes, the Apple app for podcasts on your phone. On Android, you can go to Google Play, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere where you find podcasts, you'll find the Christian Bro Code podcast. I hope you have a great day. I hope 2017 ends great for you and that you start 2018 fantastic. Have a great day. God bless.